Mountains that rise straight out of the ocean, seals who couldn't care less that we were watching, a ferry crossing that felt more like a scenic cruise than a way to get somewhere, and a drive straight through the middle of an active volcano. This week, we cross from one end of New Zealand's South Island, all the way into the heart of the north. 2 islands, 4 days, and don't forget the famous explorer, our trusted Luna. So get your warm blanket and your warm cup of tea or coffee. Just don't tell Sarah I said the C word. And let's get into it.
Joe, don't move.
I'm not moving.
I don't think he's bothered by us at all. No, I think we're the entertainment. I've officially found my spirit animal.
You mean relaxed, unbothered, and refusing to move unless absolutely necessary?
Exactly. Wild seals, mountains rising almost straight from the sea, and one of the most surprising drives we've had in New Zealand. This is how week 4 begins.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the adventures of Joe and Sarah. Today is the first day of week 4 here in New Zealand, and we're leaving Westport behind for a journey that will take us through mountain forests, across Lewis Pass, past Hanmer Springs, and all the way to the coastline of Kaikoura.
We've got coffee, we've got snacks, and Joe has once again announced that we have plenty of time.
We do have plenty of time.
That normally means we'll stop at every bridge, every lookout, and every suspiciously photogenic tree.
I prefer the term professionally curious.
One of the things we're starting to understand about New Zealand is how quickly the landscape can change. You leave the coast behind, drive for a while, and suddenly everything feels completely different.
The road becomes quieter, the hills begin closing in around you, and before long, you realize you haven't seen another vehicle for several minutes. Or phone signal.
Which means Joe can no longer check whether the next lookout is worth stopping at.
But this one was worth it. For a few seconds, there was nothing. No traffic, no people, just the sound of water somewhere between the trees, and a few birds moving through the forest.
You don't realize how noisy everyday life is until you arrive somewhere like this. Even we stop talking. Briefly.
Lewis Pass sits just over 900 meters above sea level and is one of the 3 main road crossings through the Southern Alps. It is the northernmost of the 3, but standing here, the numbers don't really tell you much.
The road feels completely enclosed by the forest. One moment you can see the mountains, then you turn a corner, and the trees close around you again.
It feels less like driving through the landscape and more like the forest is slowly letting you pass.
That sounded suspiciously poetic.
I've had 2 coffees, so that might explain it. I wasn't expecting this. I thought Lewis Pass would simply be another mountain road. Then we stepped out of Luna, and it felt as though we'd walked into another time. The first thing I noticed was the moss. It's on the ground, on the fallen branches, even along the tree trunks. Everything looks soft.
And the trees themselves feel different from the forests we've already traveled through. These are native southern beech trees. Their history reaches all the way back to Gondwana, which means these forests are connected to a world that existed millions of years before either of us arrived with a camera. What the camera can't capture properly is the smell. Wet earth, fresh leaves, and that slightly sweet smell the forest gets after rain. You have to stand still for a moment and breathe it in.
Which is exactly what we did. No speech, no history lesson. Just a few minutes listening to the forest.
Joe, you've got company. I think he likes you.
Finally, recognition.
Or you're disturbing insects as you walk.
That is far less flattering. I prefer the idea that he likes me.
Fantails often follow people through the bush because our movement stirs up tiny insects from the forest floor. So technically, he isn't interested in you. He's interested in lunch.
I'm choosing to believe we've formed a connection, a deep and meaningful one. Oh, wait, he nearly flew into my ear.
Perhaps he had something important to tell you. Coffee stop number, what are we on now?
I think it's coffee stop number 2.
That is absolutely not true.
Well, 2 official coffee stops.
You are trying to get off the hook with a technicality. How many unofficial ones?
That information is not currently available, but look at this place, a stream beside us, mountains in the distance, no one else around. How are you supposed to drive past without stopping?
You're not. And that's one of the things I'm starting to love most about traveling in Luna. Not the big destinations, not always the famous places, but the moments in between.
A hot drink, cold mountain air, and know where we urgently need to be for the next 10 minutes. As we moved away from the highest part of Lewis Pass, the landscape began changing again. The dense forest slowly opened. The valleys became wider, and the road carried us towards Hanmer Springs.
We knew Hanmer Springs was famous for its natural hot pools. What we didn't expect was to see so many people walking around town in dressing gowns.
For a moment, I thought we'd missed a very relaxed local festival. Then we realized most of them were heading to or from the pools, which suddenly made the dressing gowns completely normal.
And made our travel clothes look strangely formal. We were tempted to stay for a soak, very tempted.
But Kaikoura was still waiting, and the road ahead had one more surprise for us, the kind of surprise that makes you ask someone to stop the van immediately. And for once, it wasn't because Sarah needed another coffee.
We'll discuss that accusation later. Next stop, the place where the mountains finally meet the sea.
We've been hearing about Kaikoura ever since we arrived in New Zealand. Everyone we've spoken to has said exactly the same thing. Just wait until you get there. So naturally, our expectations were pretty high.
The funny thing is, the road keeps teasing you. You'll catch a glimpse of the ocean, then it's gone again. Another bend, another glimpse, and you're still wondering, is this it?
Then, we rounded one final corner. Now I understand what everyone was talking about.
I've never seen mountains rise out of the sea quite like this. It almost doesn't look real. Those peaks climb to more than 2,500 meters. Yet the ocean is right there beside them. It's one of those landscapes your brain needs a few minutes to process. I love walks like this. You don't have to rush. Every few hundred meters, there's another excuse to stop.
Usually because Sarah has spotted flowers.
Or because Joe has spotted another fence.
One fence, one. I'm never hearing the end of that. But anyway, the full peninsula walkway stretches for around 12 kilometers. But you don't need to walk every meter to appreciate this place. Every turn gives you another incredible view across the coastline.
What I love most is how different everything feels depending on which direction you look. One side, snow-capped mountains, the other, nothing but the Pacific Ocean stretching to the horizon. It's like two completely different worlds meeting in the same place. There they are. There are so many. Well, that wasn't very graceful.
Funny, isn't it? In the water, they're incredibly elegant. Out here, they're basically oversized puppies. That one looks like he just woke up from the world's biggest afternoon nap. I think we've interrupted his schedule. You know, seeing them like this makes their story even more remarkable. During the 18th and 19th centuries, commercial sealing almost wiped New Zealand fur seals out completely. Thankfully, they're now protected, and places like Point Keen have become one of the best places to watch them living exactly as they should.
From a respectful distance, of course. We're visitors here. This is their home. One thing I kept wondering was, why here? Why are there so many animals around Kaikoura?
It's all happening beneath the water. Just offshore lies the Kaikoura Canyon. It's an enormous underwater canyon where deep, nutrient-rich water rises towards the surface. Those nutrients feed tiny marine life, which feeds fish, which attracts dolphins, seabirds, seals, and even whales.
So the wildlife isn't here by chance. The ocean is setting the table every single day.
One thing we've learned after traveling through New Zealand is that the places you remember most aren't always the ones you planned for. Sarah, I think we've accidentally saved one of the best views in New Zealand until almost the end of the South Island.
You said exactly the same thing yesterday.
I know, but look at this. How is this real?
You know what I love? There's not a single building trying to steal the view. It's just the water, the hills, and complete peace.
If this is how today's adventure ends, I have absolutely no idea how we're going to top it. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the adventures of Joe and Sarah. Today is day 2 of week 4 here in New Zealand, and we're heading north towards Picton. But before we get there, we're traveling through one of the country's most famous regions, Marlborough.
When most people hear Marlborough, they immediately think of wine. But we've discovered there's so much more to this part of New Zealand than vineyards.
Rolling countryside, historic towns, beautiful roads, fresh local produce, and eventually, one of the most beautiful natural harbors we've ever seen.
Sounds like another terrible day at the office.
We'll somehow survive.
You know what I love about road trips? Every morning feels like starting a brand new chapter. Yesterday already feels like ages ago.
Exactly. Yesterday was all about mountains meeting the ocean. Today, everything starts opening up. The roads become wider, the skies seem bigger, and before long, the scenery changes completely.
We've stopped trying to guess what's around the next corner because New Zealand keeps proving us wrong.
Every single time.
This is one of those places where you promise yourself you'll only stop for 5 minutes.
And somehow 40 minutes disappear.
Exactly.
The coastline up here feels different, less dramatic, more peaceful. The road hugs the ocean, and you find yourself slowing down without even realizing it.
Not because you have to, because you want to. We're in no rush, that's the whole point.
That's becoming a dangerous habit. Then, almost without warning, everything changed again.
1 minute, mountains, the next, rows and rows of vineyards stretching as far as we could see.
welcome to Marlborough.
It's funny. You expect vineyards to all look the same, but standing here, there's something incredibly calming about them. Everything feels organized, perfectly lined up, almost like someone planted an entire landscape with a ruler.
Marlborough has become one of the world's best-known wine regions. The long sunny days, cool evenings, and well-drained soils create ideal growing conditions. Even if you're not a wine drinker, it's impossible not to appreciate how beautiful this region is.
It's peaceful. That's probably the word I'd use. You don't feel like rushing through here. You feel like slowing down, opening the windows, and enjoying the drive. Right. Coffee?
You laughed at me yesterday.
I'm not laughing now. This feels like exactly the right place.
One thing we've learned on this trip, the best conversations almost always happen when we've stopped moving.
No itinerary, no pressure, just sitting somewhere beautiful, talking about absolutely everything, or sometimes nothing at all.
I don't think people realize that one of the biggest luxuries of traveling like this is time.
And good coffee. Don't forget the coffee.
Never. Not long later, we arrived in Blenheim, the largest town in Marlborough, and the gateway to so much of what makes this region special.
It immediately feels different from some of the places we've visited recently. It's relaxed, tree-lined, easy to explore. There's this lovely balance between country town and modern lifestyle.
If you enjoy local markets, gardens, great food, or simply taking your time, you could easily spend a few days here.
We did briefly consider extending our stay.
We did.
But there was one place calling our name.
Picton. Just outside Blenheim sits the Omaka Aviation Heritage Center. Now, even if you're not a huge aviation fan, it's one of those places people speak very highly of.
If you've got the time, it's definitely worth adding to your Marlborough itinerary.
For us, though, today's adventure was leading us somewhere else.
Somewhere we'd both been looking forward to for weeks.
The closer we got to Picton, the more excited we became, because tomorrow, we'll be leaving the South Island behind. But first, there's one final place we have to explore.
You know that feeling, when you're getting close to somewhere you've been excited about, and every kilometer makes you just a little more impatient?
That's exactly how today feels. We've heard so much about Picton, but nobody's really told us what to expect. Just wait until you get there.
Which is becoming a very common sentence in New Zealand.
And somehow, it's been true every single time. The road climbs gently before revealing sparkling blue water.
Joe!
I see it.
No. Properly look at it.
Wow, that is beautiful. This was Queen Charlotte Sound, one of the main waterways of the Marlborough Sound. And honestly, it's unlike anywhere we've visited so far.
It almost looks like someone flooded an entire mountain range. There are little bays, hidden coves, tiny peninsulas. Everywhere you look, there's another corner waiting to be explored.
The Marlborough Sounds were formed when rising sea levels flooded ancient river valleys thousands of years ago. Today, the coastline stretches for thousands of kilometers when you include all the bays and inlets. It's an incredible reminder that nature doesn't always build landscapes. Sometimes it reshapes them.
And somehow, it feels peaceful rather than dramatic. It's the sort of place that makes you slow down without even thinking about it.
Then, we finally arrived, Picton, the gateway between New Zealand's South and North Islands.
It's got such a different atmosphere. After days of mountain roads and quiet little towns, there's suddenly this wonderful energy. People walking along the waterfront, boats coming and going, families enjoying lunch by the marina.
It feels alive, without feeling busy.
Exactly. It's got that relaxed holiday feeling. Nobody seems to be in a hurry.
I've always loved marinas. Every boat tells a story. Some have just come back from an adventure. Others are getting ready to leave.
And then there's us, standing here imagining where every single one has been.
I bet you've already planned 3 imaginary holidays.
Only 3? You've underestimated me.
One thing that's immediately obvious, life here revolves around the water, whether it's fishing, sailing, the ferry, or simply enjoying the views. The sea is part of everyday life.
This might sound strange, but I think this waterfront has exactly the right amount of everything. Enough cafes, enough boats, enough people, without ever feeling crowded.
It's somewhere you could happily spend an afternoon doing, well, not very much.
Those are usually the best afternoons.
I think that's becoming one of the biggest lessons from traveling. You don't have to fill every minute. Sometimes, the memories come from simply sitting somewhere beautiful, watching the world go by. People kept telling us, don't think of it as just catching a ferry.
Think of it as one of the most beautiful journeys you'll ever take.
After seeing this, I completely understand why.
Today, we're leaving the South Island behind and starting a whole new chapter.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Adventures of Joe and Sarah. Today is day 3 of week 4, and it's one we've both been looking forward to since the day we landed in New Zealand.
We're saying goodbye to the South Island, boarding the Inter-Islander ferry, crossing the famous Cook Strait and arriving in New Zealand's capital city, Wellington.
We've traveled hundreds of kilometers together over the past few weeks, through mountain passes, along rugged coastlines, across glaciers, into rainforests, surrounded by scenery more stunning than anything we could have imagined.
But today's journey feels different. It doesn't just take us somewhere new. It feels like we're turning the page to the next chapter of this adventure.
There's something strangely emotional about leaving a place you've only just started to know.
I know exactly what you mean. Yesterday afternoon, we were walking along the waterfront, watching the boats, enjoying the sunshine, and now we're already saying goodbye.
I think that's one of the most beautiful things about traveling. You never really own a place. You simply borrow it for a little while, take the memories with you, and leave footprints that disappear with the next tide.
That was surprisingly deep, Joe.
I've had coffee.
Ah, that explains everything. I don't know why, but driving Luna onto the ferry feels strangely exciting.
It almost feels like she's part of the crew now.
She's definitely earned her place. She's carried us across the entire South Island without missing a beat.
And today, she gets to continue the adventure with us.
Now this is a view.
Before we leave the South Island behind, there's something we'd genuinely like to say.
Throughout this adventure, Luna has been so much more than just transport. She's been our little home, our coffee stop, our shelter from the rain, and she's taken us to places we'll never forget.
A massive thank you goes to Marius and Voter from Pegasus Adventures for making it possible for Luna to continue this incredible journey onto the North Island. Without your support, this adventure simply wouldn't be the same.
Thank you for believing in what we're building, for standing behind what we're creating together, and for helping us discover the heart of New Zealand, one incredible mile at a time.
As soon as the ferry leaves Picton, you realize why people speak so highly about this crossing. The journey doesn't begin out in open ocean. It begins here, among the sheltered waterways of Queen Charlotte Sound.
It's so peaceful. The water is almost perfectly still. The hills seem to rise straight out of the sea, and every bend reveals another hidden bay.
It's hard to believe this is actually the start of a ferry journey. It feels more like a scenic cruise.
You could almost forget we're traveling between islands.
The Marlborough Sounds are made up of a network of drowned river valleys that were gradually flooded as sea levels rose thousands of years ago. Today, they create one of New Zealand's most remarkable coastal landscapes.
Everywhere you look, tiny beaches, little jetties, holiday homes tucked into the hillsides, some places that look like you could only reach them by boat.
Imagine waking up here every morning.
I think we'd be late leaving every single day.
That's already happening.
Joe, as always, fair point.
Slowly, almost without noticing, the landscape begins to change. The narrow bays become wider, the hills begin to fall away, and suddenly, the ferry leaves the protection of the sounds behind.
Now you can really feel the scale of the journey.
Ahead of us, Cook Strait, one of New Zealand's most famous stretches of water, separating the South and North Islands.
Standing out here, with nothing but ocean ahead, you suddenly realize we're actually changing islands.
And somehow, that makes today feel even more special.
Well, now I understand why everyone told us to bring a jacket.
The wind definitely has a personality out here.
I think it just tried to steal my hat.
Good thing it didn't. That would have become the shortest flight to the North Island. Cook Strait is only about 22 kilometers wide at its narrowest point. But don't let that fool you. These waters are famous for their powerful tides, changing weather, and strong currents. Some days they're calm, other days they're a completely different story.
We were lucky. The sea gave us one of those days where you can actually stand still, look around, and simply enjoy being out here.
Sometimes, the journey really is just as memorable as the destination, and this is definitely one of those journeys.
Land.
There it is, the North Island.
You know, seeing it appear out of the distance feels strangely emotional. We've spent weeks exploring the South Island, and now we're beginning an entirely new adventure.
As the ferry rounded the final headland, Wellington slowly came into view, built around one of the world's great natural harbors. The city immediately feels different, modern, creative, and full of energy.
It's amazing how quickly the scenery changes. 1 minute, we're surrounded by open water. The next, we're sailing straight into the heart of New Zealand's capital.
Once we'd settled Luna into the city, there was one thing we couldn't wait to do: ride Wellington's famous cable car.
I don't know why, but I've wanted to do this ever since we started planning the trip.
The cable car has been carrying passengers up Thigh Hill since 1902. Originally built to help people reach the growing suburbs above the city, today it's one of Wellington's most recognizable landmarks.
And the views, they're worth every second of the ride. You can see the harbor, the city, the surrounding hills. It gives you a completely different perspective.
It's also one of those rare attractions where the journey is every bit as enjoyable as arriving at the top.
I'm noticing a pattern today. Apparently, we're very good at enjoying journeys.
Next stop, Te Papa, New Zealand's National Museum.
I'll admit something. When Joe first said, "Let's spend time in a museum," I wasn't completely convinced.
I noticed.
But I was wrong. This isn't one of those museums where you quietly read signs and shuffle from room to room. Everything feels interactive, engaging, and incredibly well presented.
Te Papa tells the story of New Zealand through its people, its wildlife, its landscapes, its Maori heritage, and the forces that shape these islands.
You leave feeling like you understand New Zealand just a little bit better. Not because someone lectured you, because the stories stay with you. And wow, this street has personality.
That's probably the best way to describe it.
You never quite know what you're going to see next. Live music, street art, little cafes, independent shops, people just enjoying life.
It feels creative, like everyone's encouraged to be themselves.
Exactly. Nobody's trying too hard. It just feels authentic.
If you enjoy wandering without a plan, this is definitely one of those places where getting a little lost is part of the experience. As the afternoon slowly turned into evening, we found ourselves back by the water.
Funny, isn't it? We started today beside the sea in Picton, spent the day crossing it, and somehow we've ended beside the sea again.
Only now, everything feels different. Different island, different city, different adventure.
But the same Luna.
Always the same Luna. Looking back, the South Island gave us memories we'll never forget. Snow-covered mountains, glaciers, rainforests, wild coastlines, tiny towns, and roads that constantly surprised us.
But instead of feeling like something has ended, today feels like something has just begun.
You know, there are some roads you drive because they get you somewhere, and then there are roads that become part of the adventure.
Today, we're driving through the middle of an ancient volcanic landscape where active volcanoes still shape the horizon, and every kilometer feels like we're driving through another world. Honestly, if someone told me this was another planet, I'd probably believe them.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the adventures of Joe and Sarah. Today is day 4 of week 4, and we're leaving the city behind. Our destination, Lake Taupō, but between here and there, we're traveling through one of New Zealand's most extraordinary landscapes.
Volcanoes, wide open plains, endless highways, snow-capped mountains, and a road that's become legendary among Kiwi road trippers. It's amazing how quickly everything changes. 10 minutes ago, we were surrounded by city streets. Now, we're back on open roads again.
That's one thing we've noticed about New Zealand. You're never very far from nature. Even after spending time in the capital, it doesn't take long before you're surrounded by green hills again.
And somehow, it already feels like we're heading somewhere completely different. We've stopped trying to predict what's coming next, because New Zealand has a habit of proving us wrong. This stretch of road is beautiful. The ocean on one side, rolling farmland on the other. It's one of those drives where you almost forget to have a conversation.
Mostly because we're both too busy looking out the windows.
Well, you're supposed to be watching the road.
I am, mostly. The Kāpiti Coast has become one of those places people escape to when they want to slow life down. Little beach towns, local cafes, beautiful coastline. It's easy to understand why people fall in love with this area.
It feels peaceful, not sleepy, just relaxed, like everyone's remembered to breathe.
One thing we've really enjoyed on this trip is discovering places we'd honestly never heard of before arriving in New Zealand.
Exactly. Not every memorable stop has to be famous. Sometimes it's the little towns in between that make a road trip special.
Foxton has that kind of charm, a place where life seems to move at its own pace.
It's also a good reminder. Road trips aren't just about the destinations. Sometimes they're about the unexpected places in between. Okay, this town definitely has a sense of humor.
I was wondering how long it would take before you noticed. Everything has Bull in the name. The police station, the information center, even some of the local businesses.
I appreciate a town that's fully committed to the joke.
Someone clearly had fun naming everything.
Imagine the meeting. So, should we stop after 3 bull puns? No. 5? No. Every sign? Now you're getting it.
Before long, we arrived in Taihape, otherwise known as the gumboot capital of New Zealand. Now that's a title you don't hear every day.
Only in New Zealand could someone proudly say, "Our town is famous for gumboots," and somehow, everyone just agrees.
I love that. It doesn't try to be something it isn't. It embraces its own personality, which is exactly what makes traveling fun. You never quite know what story you're going to discover next.
Joe, Look ahead, those mountains almost don't look real.
For most of today, we've been driving through rolling farmland. Then, almost without warning, the horizon changes. Suddenly, there are volcanoes.
You know something's different. The trees become fewer. The landscape feels wider. The air somehow feels bigger. It's like nature is quietly preparing you for what's coming next.
Tomorrow? No. Actually, in just a little while. We're about to drive one of the most remarkable roads in New Zealand, a place shaped by fire, ice, and time itself. And judging by that mountain, I don't think we're prepared for what's waiting around the next corner.
What a week that was. Between a fantail that Joe swears formed a deep and meaningful connection with him, a town that couldn't resist naming absolutely everything after a bull, and at one moment, the wind out on the Cook Strait hit me so hard it nearly stole my hat off my head. This might be one of our funniest weeks yet. But it wasn't just the laughs. It was mountains meeting the sea at Kaikoura. It was standing on a ferry deck, watching the Marlborough Sounds slide past like something out of a dream. It was realizing, halfway across an ancient volcanic plateau, that we genuinely had no idea New Zealand had a landscape like that hiding in the middle of it. Every single time we think we've seen the best this country has to offer, it finds a way to surprise us all over again. Until next time, look after yourselves, look after each other, and never lose your sense of adventure. See you next week, same time, right here on Sky 83.